morning, welcome back to my channel. My name's Leonie, aka Stitching Leonie, and I am back to re-record part 3 of my 2021 No New Starts WIP parade. I did record all 3 sections of it on Friday. I had to think about what the day was. Friday the 1st of January, but when I was sort of editing yesterday, I thought I'd saved part 3, but apparently I didn't. So I had edited all 3 parts and was uploading 1 and 2, or 1 had uploaded, 2 was uploading. Went to upload 3 and thought I'd check it, so lucky I did, would have been very embarrassing, but went to check it and realised that I deleted the native without saving the edited version first, which was stupid because normally I don't do that, but I decided this time I would clear the natives off when I'd finished editing, but of course Dumbo forgot to save it. So yeah, ooh well. But it's probably okay in one sense because it now means that I have nobody in the room with me. I've just had, this is probably about the 5th time I've started this actually, because I've had the dog and both the cats and whatever. But when I was doing part 3 the other day, I actually had Felix in here and he was doing all sorts of things. He was kicking the camera, he was attacking the whips, and well, actually wasn't attacking them, he just wanted them. So it probably was better that I did re-record it anyway, because it was a bit convoluted. And plus I think I left about 5 whips sitting out in the lounge and forgotten to bring them in. And yes, so, oh well. So no more rambling. Let's get on with WIP Parade Part 3. 2 days late. Luckily I haven't worked on any of them bar 1, which was okay. So it's not going to be too much of an issue. So part 1, recap. So part 1 was my whips covering 1 through to 21. Part 2 covered whips of 22 to 40. And I actually didn't think, but I should have gone to 41 because then I would have closed out everything up to the end of 2019, but that's okay. So we're starting on WIP 41, which was my birthday start in 2019. And no surprise, it was a mirror. And it was 314. So I started this with a couple of friends. We had birthday starts with the last couple of years and chose something to start. So it was either we all started the same thing or something sort of similar. So this is the one I chose to start for my birthday start. I didn't actually work on it at all in 2020, so all of the work that I've done was done in 2019. It is stitched on a 28 count Opal Lagana Angel of the Morning by Colour Cascade Fabrics, and where we are up to is, here, oops, that is basically there we go. So this is where we're up to. So that is the obviously the middle lady and moving into the second one. I don't have a particular goal for this other than I would like to work on it in 2021, and it would be very nice to maybe complete one of the ladies, whether it's the center lady or the one on the side that I've started. This will definitely get worked on in October, whether it's on my birthday or at some point during that month, but I do plan to work on that in October, if not before. So that closes out all of the 2019 whips. I am now moving to whip number 42. So whip number 42 was my New Year, New Start whip. It feels really weird not having had a New Year's start this year, but that's okay. So this is a Mirabilia again, and it was Cinderella. Cinderella is something that I'd had in my stash for quite some time. Have seen people stitch it, never ever attempted it because it is huge. Decided to attempt it, and as it turned out, 2020 was one of those years, so it was probably not a bad year to start something massive. Only thing is I didn't really get as much on it as I would have liked, and it is a massive piece of fabric, so wrangling it is fun. This is on 32 count Opal Lagana Stormbringer by Colour Cascade Fabrics. So I'll just give it a quick little fold so that it's a bit easier to see it. And I absolutely love this design. It is so gorgeous. So this is where we're up to. I used it for semi-sane stitches at Bingo, which is why we've jumped around a little bit. That's the main bit that as I started working on. When I first started, I worked in this corner. Then I'd come over here and I was doing that for Bingo, and I came over here and did something here for Bingo. But for the most part, every time I've sat down recently and you stitched on it, I did stitch in here. This was one of my WIP Go projects last year, and my plan was to stitch, I can't remember, it was 20 or 25 days on it, but I didn't quite get that. I think I managed 19 or 20 days stitching on it. And it is back in WIP Go for this year, but only for 5 days. So that's where that one's at. I don't envisage obviously getting a lot of work done on it in 2021, but I would like to get some work done on it. Okay, so that was number 42. 43 through to 47 are all with the needle and thread WIPs. They are my Stitch Mania starts for 2020. So what I did for Stitch Mania for 2020 is I picked 20 WIPs, I think it was, ended up being 4 weeks, and started them on the weekdays of the month, thinking, you know, 1 designer, 5 designs, because I'd had so many of them sitting there, I thought I might as well do them. So that was my idea, was to go with our needle and thread, Plum Street Samplers, Shepherd's Bush, and then the last week was all of, well, 5 of the Be Well ones that came out, those freebies, and there were a couple of them I finished, and a couple of them are still sitting, but didn't manage to bring them into this year's WIP parade. So the first one out of this range is number 43, and it is Plum Pudding from With Thy Needle and Thread. It's stitched on 36 count Edinburgh Oaken by Picture This Plus. Which way I'm going to go with this? And this is where she's at now. So she has had, or they have had, I love these little mousies, I've had quite a bit of work done on them this year. I've had it out a couple of times. When I did the Stitch Mania start, it was just the little spatula and a bit of her arm. So I have done quite a lot. Quite pleased with the way this has come out. Rather gorgeous. Goal is to finish with a bit of luck. The next one was Merry Mouse. Merry Mouse, that way. I'm going to have glare today. I didn't have glare that much the other day. Now I've got glare. Different time of the day. So Merry Mouse. Now, Merry Mouse was one of those ones that during Stitch Mania didn't get a lot of stitching on. This is also stitched on 36 count Oaken from Picture This Plus, so same fabric. So when I did, I think I only got like about 60 stitches or something, and it was just literally the green leaf, and worked on a little bit of the apron to go across to the bow, which meant I had to work on it the other day to get up to 200 stitches to include it in this year's WIP list for no new starts. So I did that. I think I did that on the 29th or something, 30th. Got that knocked off. So that was my starting point for that one now. WIP number 44. Oh, I should have said 4th of May for Plum Pudding, 5th of May for Merry Mouse was my starting dates last year. Christmas Tea is my next one. This was started on the 6th of May 2020. Glare. I have to take out the plastic, I think. And this one is also stitched on 36 count Oaken. This one has a goal to be finished, and Christmas Tea is also, I'm just fiddling with my loose thread. Christmas Tea is also one of my daily 30 zombie run WIPs. So when I chose my daily 30 zombie runs, I decided to choose something small this time, because I really, when I did scavenger hunt for Daily 30, I chose completely the wrong WIPs and dropped out. So I thought this time around I'll choose a small as well as some bigs, because then I can hopefully get some finishes and swap WIPs around. So with a bit of luck, that will work. So this is where Christmas tea is at now. When I did my Stitch Mania start, all I had worked on was the teapot and coming across and do a little bit of an apron. So I've actually done a lot of work on it this year. I'm actually quite pleased. You can't really sort of see the big teacup. But yeah, this is one that I can pull out and just do a couple hundred stitches on it really quite easily, which is why I put it into the Daily 31. So that was WIP 45. And they're all stitched in the Call for threads too, by the way. WIP 46 is Scary Mouse from With Thy Needle and Thread. This one is stitched on 36 count Edinburgh Mellow, so just for something different. Not as far advanced as the others, but I did work on it, I think in this area. So I had to do a couple hundred stitches on something for some challenge, and this one came out. So I don't have a goal specifically on this one other than to get some time in it. Be nice to finish those, but you know, if I don't, I don't. That was started on the 7th of May. WIP number 47 is Field Mouse Hollow from With Thy Needle and Thread. I started this one on the 8th of May. This one is also stitched on 36 count Edinburgh Mellow. And that's where this one's at. So with this one, again, I actually had to rush and do enough stitches to get my 200 up. All I had done for my Stitch Mania start was I stitched that and the arm and the head and whatnot. So I needed another 40 or something stitches, which is why I just quickly put in the orange bit. And there we are with that one. So cute. Love this one. No specific goal other than to work on it. And that's all of the With Thy Needle and Threads for the time being. Put them back in their bag. Okay. The other part of my Stitch Mania was I picked 5 Plum Street samplers to work on. I have not bought all 5 into this. I've only bought 3 of them in. The other 2 I've decided to leave. The first one I bought into it is WIP number 48, and it is Teeny Weeny, which is the cute little duckies. This is stitched on 36 count Truffle from Picture This Plus. Yeah, that's sort of a bit better. What did I do? So, Stitch Mania start, I know I had done Weenie Cat. We'll ignore him, okay? I have picked it up since Stitch Mania, and I did these motifs over here. Finished, or not finished, but did some more of that word and came across to here. So that is where that one will be for the starting point. Be nice to finish that, but my goal really is just to work on it. That was started on the 12th of May 2020. WIP number 49 is Scary 2. Started on the 14th of May 2020, and this is stitched on 36 count Edinburgh Mellow from Picture This Plus. Excuse me, I'm back. 2 cats. See how we go. Hopefully there's enough to keep them occupied by looking out the window. Scary 2. So this is where we're at with Scary 2. Stitched on 36 count Edinburgh Mellow from Picture This Plus. when I did my Stitch Mania start, I'd mainly just done our little friend the squirrel. So since then I have done all of the rest of that. This will be finished in 2021. That's definitely going to happen. WIP number 50 in my list is Pomegranate Santa. Absolutely love this design. Have loved it ever since it came out. Finally managed to start that. I'm really pleased that I did. This is also stitched on a Picture This Plus fabric, and it is being stitched on Tyco, 36 count Edinburgh Tyco. And I will see if I can just do a little bit of a fold. Probably not, but this is where it's at. Oops, there is a bit at the top. There we go. So I've worked on this quite a lot so far in 2020. My Stitch Mania start was, I think it was here. I think I started in this space here. So he comes out quite regularly, especially when I want a couple, like 200 stitches or something for a challenge, and he fits in, he comes out. He's so easy to stitch on. And I was doing him this bit the other day. He will be finished in 2021. Absolute, definitely have to finish him in 2021. So that's all the Plum Streets. He was started on the 15th of May. So the other two Plum Streets, as I mentioned, that I started for Stitch Mania, didn't quite make it into this. It was Big Queenie and Cinnamon Stars. So they potentially will come out next year. Yeah, 2022. Okay, I'm going to continue, but it looks like we're going to have a repeat of the other day where I have a cat purring. I hope he's not too loud. I apologise if that's all you can hear. But he's decided this is where he's staying, so it looks like we're going to have to just keep going. Okay, let's see how far we get without me kicking him off. So WIP number 51 is my Shepherd's Bush. I started them as individual starts when I was doing Stitch Mania, but they are now classed as one WIP, and which I'm calling 2000 Years Ago, which is what the name of the first chart was. So I'll put a picture up here of all of them. So there's 8 in the series. 8? Yes. So what I first saw was originally the first 4, and that was set as just a chart called 2000 Years Ago. But all 8 of them are actually in the Just Cross Stitch magazines in the early 2000s. So the first one came out in 2000 in the Christmas issue, and then for the next 7 years. So I had all of those bar the first one, and a friend very kindly lent me the first one. So I was able to do that, which was awesome, because that would have stopped me from actually doing the whole thing. Well, it wouldn't have really, because I could have just, I was able to get, he can still get the 2000 Years Ago set of 4, so I could have just ordered that, but luckily I didn't have to. So what I have done is called this now 2000 Years Ago, and it is stitched on 32 count Opal Lugana Clouds from Colour Cascade fabric. It's actually going to be quite long, and I've got quite a super long piece. Oops, don't let the cat have that. Because I just thought I'm not going to cut it down till it's finished, and it will eventually turn into a wall hanging of some description, but I'm not one of these that does FFOs very often. So this is where it's at to now. So basically what I did is each day, the 5 days, I made a small start, and I stitched enough, and I'm pretty sure I showed this on one of my videos, but I'd stitched enough to be able to make the next start and have the link. I've since gone back and worked on this and finished the different motifs. So this is the first one, 2000 Years Ago. Then the second one is when the angels sang. So 2000 years ago, the angels sang, shepherds watched, wise men came, and then this one is Inner Stable. So once I've done Inner Stable, I'll then move on and do the next 3, which are Mary and Joseph, and something about the baby, and then in Bethlehem or something. I can't quite remember now, but I would have had them in, because what I've done is I've done a collage of the 2000 years ago and the other ones I have to do as my WIP cover photo for this. So this one would be really good if I got this actually finished. It was supposed to be finished for December 2020, and that didn't happen, because my original plan was I was actually going to say 2020 years ago, but the thing is I knew that I would actually not get it finished for December 2020. I'm going to go back to 2000 years ago and just make it 2000 years ago, because the whole 2020 thing is not required anymore, because we're now in 2021. And I'm sure 2021 is going to be no different to 2020, but do we really want to remember necessarily? No. So it'll go back to being 2000 years ago. So that was sort of started all around sort of the end of May. WIP number 52. So WIP number 52, and I've had to move things around because Felix came and sat here, so I have to just get myself reorganized. So WIP number 52 is a Blackbird Designs WIP, and it is Midnight Watch. So I started this one on the 9th of July 2020, and it was part of the Sane Stitches Haunting Sale. My goal was to try and actually get that house finished in 2020, and guess what? It didn't happen. No surprises there. This is stitched on a 28 count opal crystal Maya from Picture This Plus, and that way round, and this is where we're at to now. So I didn't quite get the house finished, and I can't remember why I went up there and did those couple of stitches. It was for some, I think I needed sort of an extra 3 or 4 stitches for something in the black color for a sale, so I think that's why I ended up doing that. So that's where that's up to. So the goal is still to get that house finished in 2021, but we'll see how we go. I would like to at least stitch on it in 2021. So that one is Midnight Watch. So that's the only Blackbird Designs one I happen to have in my WIP list. It's the only one I've actually got started, I think, too. WIP number 53 is my birthday start for 2020. So no surprises, of course. It was a mirror video, and we started Cathedral Woods Goddess. Cathedral Woods Goddess is, please do not move the camera, is one of my daily 30 zombie run WIPs that I want to work on, with the hope to actually get it finished. So this is the plan, is to get this one finished in 2021. It is stitched on 28 count opal Melicius from Under the Sea Fabrics. This is this beautiful fabric I got recently from Leslie, obviously just before October, so I could start it. And I actually had bought the 36 count of it as well, because I absolutely loved it. And that's my current placing for this one. Really, really enjoy working on this, which is one of the reasons why I put it in my zombie run list, because I thought I really enjoy working on it. I love working on the fabric. So I'm hoping that means that I'll actually get some significant work on it, and with a bit of luck, finish it. No, Felix, do not get a smack bum. Right, so that was WIP 53, started on the 5th of October 2020. On the 12th of October, I started a Gale Boosie. Now, the reason I started this one was I had joined the magazine challenge Facebook group, and I needed to have a magazine WIP that fitted in with the theme for the month of October. Can't remember what the theme was now from memory, but I managed to start this one, which is the little stitching witch, and I used her for the whole challenge. So for the idea of the challenge is the theme you need to use a chart from a magazine for, but the acrostic you can use anything you want. But I actually managed to get her to fit my whole challenge for that month. And I think that was about the only month that November I managed to do as well. I didn't do December. So that's the little stitching witch, and that comes from the 2013 Halloween Just Cross Stitch special issue. This is stitched on 28 count Opal Brittany Dead Sea flats, and of course I don't need the whole piece. So here she is. This is what she looks like now. So there's not a huge amount of work left on her. Once I've finished all of this, that little bit of border and stuff won't take long. So she is classed down as a finished for, oh, Felix, we're really having a struggle here today. She is down for a finish for the year, for 2021. So cute. And she's the only Gale Boosie. I've actually got a couple of other Gale Boosies in my WIP list, but she's the only one that made it to the challenge for the year. Okay, so that was number 54. Number 55 is a Mill Hill. This is my last Mill Hill that's in my list. And this one is Christmas Island Santa. I started him on the 10th of November 2020. The reason I started him was for a challenge for something. I can't remember what it was now. But I did actually want to try and get him finished last year, but I ran out of steam. He was actually a bit annoying at times, so this is as far as I've got. There's not a lot more to do on him really. I just need to finish a little bit of the stitching around here and here. I think his feet are all done. Yeah, everything up here is done. So yeah, it's just a little bit of stitching over these two on the sides where the flowers are, and basically bead and back stitch, and then he will be done. So not a lot left to do. So with a bit of luck, I will fall back in love with him at some point and stitch on him again, and I won't put that in the bag. I'll stick that over there. WIP number 56. So WIP number 56, this one is a Joan Elliott. And the reason I started this one was for November. The Sane Stitchers were doing the Famous Cities challenge for the month. And one of the prompts was to work on something to do with London, Paris. Is it London, Paris and Rome? Or London, Paris, New York? Can't remember. I was using my Eiffel Quaker for the landmark part of it, because that was another one of the prompts, so you had to get 1,000 stitches on. And I decided that I didn't want to do another 1,000 on Eiffel Quaker. I wanted to do something different. So I happen to have these ladies, which I've not started, and they've been sitting in my stash for quite a while. So they come from the Cross Stitch Gold issues. This one came from issue 81, and the other one, there's one for Paris and one for Rome. My original thinking was I was going to start all three of them together on the same piece of fabric, but I didn't actually have the same piece of fabric, a big enough piece that I could do it on, that would actually fit the colour that I wanted. So I've started London, and Paris and Rome. No, Paris and New York. Might be Paris and New York, and Rome might have been the other one that was the Famous City. I can't remember. But anyway, I've got three. And so the other two I will start at some point. So I've started London. London is my third WIP that I have chosen for the zombie run. Because again, I would love to get this one done this year. And there's not a lot of work in it. This is stitched on 28 count Opal Brittany Shadow Moon from Jodery Designs. And this is the start that I have got so far. Just some nice purple, lovely purple. So yes, this is slated for a finish. So given that we now know what the zombie run is, when I chose these WIPs I didn't know what the zombie run would end up being, but now that we've worked out what it is, I now know that I'll have to work on that every month. But that's okay, because that's what I would have liked to have been able to do anyway, because then that means I will hopefully be able to finish it. Excuse me. So that was number 56, and that was started on the 21st of November 2020. Number 57. So number 57 was one, again, that I've started for the magazine challenge. And I only used this. Did I use it for? I might have used it for everything. I can't remember now. But I haven't had a huge start on it. So this comes from a Just Cross Stitch magazine, and it comes from October 2014, which I must remember to update in my notes. So I've just done it now. So yeah, so this is a hands-on design chart called Give Thanks, and the theme for that month was either be thankful or thanks or something like that, but I can't remember exactly what the theme was. But this is my start. This is being stitched on 28 count Joblin, Jack's Rum by hand dyed by Stephanie. It was actually the called for fabric, so I was actually quite pleased that I had the called for fabric. The called for in the design was actually Belfast, but it's still the same colour. So that's where we're at. I'm just doing mine in DMC, so that's just straight 310. So it was started on the 29th of November. WIP number 58. Now this one here, this is my only Lizzie Kate in my list, and this is Winter Alphabet. So Winter Alphabet, I've chose to start this in 2020 with the plan to only do my minimum of 200, maximum, only to do 200 stitches. I actually did just over 200. I think I got 300 in the end. This is the reason I wanted to do this is Sane Stitches are doing Alphabet Challenge again for the year in 2021, but this time the idea was to choose a design and work on the letter per the 2 weeks. Rather than go out and buy something else, I had this in my stash. There's lots of things that I could have chosen, but I decided to choose this one. And I also thought this one is small enough in the sense that I can get the challenge done quickly, which means this will be a finish at the end of the year. And I won't get caught up and got behind like I did on last year's Alphabet Challenge. So that's this one. So what I had to do though is I had to choose what I was going to stitch on. Please leave what I was going to stitch on so that I could actually leave the letters free. So I chose the mitten, and then I moved into the snowman to get my 300 stitches. Now, since I recorded and deleted, I have worked on this. So I will put in the before picture of what it looked like on the 1st of January. And this is what it looks like now, because I've done my A. So this is stitched on a 28 count Opal Brittany Saharan Dunes from Joda Redesign. And please, Felix, don't be a poo. And this is where it's at. So I had the mittens and the snowman was my start for the year. But of course now I've done my A. So they've knocked off that part of the challenge. I decided just to get that done on New Year's Day. I just thought it's quick and easy, 150 stitches, let's just get it done and knock that off. So then in 2 weeks' time I can do the B, and he's going to want to go out in a second, aren't you? No, don't jump on there. Good boy. So, Winter Alphabet. stitched in DMC and Weeks Dye Works, not quite as charted, where I've been able to use the weeks that I had in my stash, I am, otherwise I've just replaced it with DMC. Okay, WIP number, how about if I move those and you can have that, how's that? Good boy. So WIP number 59. So this is a series that I have had since it came out, and I wanted to stitch them all together, so I will put the picture up in here of what they look like all together. They've been around for a couple of years now, and this is the Glitter Village by Country Cottage Needleworks. And so this is the first one. Now, because I'm stitching them on one piece of fabric and calling it the Glitter Village, which it is, it's classed as one WIP. So I will have mini starts and finishes with a bit of luck. If I can get 2 or 3 of these done this year, I'd be really pleased. I'm stitching this on 28 count Opal Lagana Silver Springs from Colour Cascade Fabrics. So that's here. And this is my measly little start, because as I had to get in a couple of 100 stitches for the No New Starts challenge, I got in about 300. And that's Glitter Village number 1, or Glitter House number 1. I am stitching this in all of the Call for Colour Classic Colourworks threads, just because I bought them at the time and I thought, well, you know, I've got them, I might as well use them. So that's my start on that one. Where am I going to put this? I'll put it there. Okay? Don't knock anything off. So I started that on the 6th of December 2020. And okay, so now this is where we're going to get slightly out of date order. So I had to do my WIP list ready for uploading before the 13th of December for the No New Starts group. And I also had to do a WIP list for Magical Stitches. So I basically listed what I had, and then I picked some new starts because I knew I wanted to have another couple of starts just to have something new to stitch on in 2021. So I put them down on my list, thinking that I would start them sort of in that order, but of course I didn't. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go them in the order I've got them on the list, but the dates are going to be out of order. But I don't think that really matters. It's more the order of what's on the list. So the first one that is out of date order is WIP number 60, and this is the Barbara Anna design that she brought out for the Be Well movement that was happening in early 2020. I have got a black and white printout, so I'll put the colour picture because it is adorable. It is probably my favourite Barbara Anna, besides the Christmas one that I saw not that long ago that came out. And there's also the cat one, is it Black Cat Hollow? I love that. So at some point I will now buy those ones, because after starting this one I absolutely love it. So this is light, as I mentioned. I actually started this on the 31st of December 2020. This is my not New Year, New Start. So I started this about 8 o'clock on New Year's Eve as we were sitting down to watch something. What did we watch? Was that when we watched Midnight Sky? Bear with, he wants to go out, so I'll be back in a sec. Back again. So as I was saying, this is my pseudo New Year, New Start. Oh, it's stitched on 32 count Lugana Stormbringer. So this is actually stitched on the same colorway as Cinderella, but it's 28 and it's not opal. Sorry, it's 32 and it's not opal, whereas the other doesn't matter. Either way, it's the same colorway. So this is where we're at the moment. So I did my obligatory 200 and something stitches, and that's where that is. So it's actually the center and going up a bit. Absolutely love this. The idea is this will be a finish in 2021 because I would like to get back to this sooner rather than later. I think she's just absolutely gorgeous. So that was WIP 20. Sorry, 60. Where did I get 20 from? That's WIP 60. So WIP number 61, I actually started this one on the 29th of December. And this is from Cottage Garden Samplings, and it's the third one in the Songbird Garden series, and it's called Winter's Wisdom. I haven't finished Forever and Ever, and Forever and Ever is actually in timeout at the moment. I've got bogged down in that one with all of the green. It's just, yeah, I wasn't feeling it, and so I didn't bring it into my WIPs for 2021. I thought I would rather have a new start in 2020. Well, 2020. I was thinking I'd start Merry and Bright, which is number 2, but I decided to do this one instead because I actually love this one. And this is my start. So this is stitched on 36 count Edinburgh Dapple by Picture This Plus. And that is the right way, yes. And that's that one. Love that little motive. I could have kept going, but I thought, no, let's just do what we have to do and move on. And it's being stitched in all of the Call for Weeks die works. So number 61, done and dusted. WIP number 62. So WIP number 62, I will again put in a picture because I've only got a black and white colour, black and white printout. So this one is called In This House. So this is one of those ones you see around that's got, you know, in this house we believe in magic and all that sort of stuff. That's all different quotes from the different nerdy things. I saw this on Etsy, and it's from a designer Stitch Area. There's she's got a couple of different styles. This one was I particularly liked. So I've got this. The reason I've started this is for Sane Stitches Nerdapalooza, and there was also, I did remember seeing something about they were going to do something, yeah, they said something about if you're ever thinking of starting an In This House design, now's the time to do it because we might need it for later in the year or something. So I decided, well, you know what, I can start one of those because I really wouldn't mind having one of those in my life. So I started this one on the 28th of December. It's stitched on 28 count Opal Brittany Burns Knight from Jodery Designs. And because I started in the middle, we are doing the universe and everything is 42. So that's where that. So I'm actually stitching it in Jodery Designs threads. Lose my light, there we go. I've chosen 3 different thread colours that range around the purples and blues and greys. I've chosen a dark one, which is called Into the Darkness. So that's my dark. I have a medium, which is Bruised Ego. And then I chose a lighter version, Purple Planets. And to be honest, this was actually the first one I chose because I saw it was called Purple Planets. So I then went and looked in my stash to see what else is in the purples and the blues and the greys that I could use with that. So the whole thing is going dark, medium, light. Now, my thinking was I start dark, medium, light for each quote. But I've had another sort of thought. Because the middle is in light, I think I'm going to do the 2 middle quotes in light and then have it so that it goes light, medium, dark that way. I don't know. We'll see what happens. That was just a thought I had the other day when I was thinking about it. It's like, ooh, I could do... Because my original thought when I wanted to do this, but I didn't have the fabric, was I wanted to stitch it on something that had like a starburst or a sunburst of fabric, and out of all the fabric I had that was the right size, nothing actually did that. And I had some bright oranges and stuff, but I didn't want to use that particular fabric, which is why we chose that one in the end. Oh no, I have forgotten one. Oh, I don't believe it. Okay, I'll be back in a moment. Okay, it's official. Part 3 is obviously just going to be a convoluted mess. I do apologise. So I have found the missing project bag. I seriously thought I brought this one in with me, but obviously I didn't. So this is WIP number 63, so almost at the end. It is Grandpa's Pickup, which is part of the Farmhouse Christmas series. This is number 3. I have completed 2. I don't think I showed you the completed number 2, but that's okay. What can I say about this? I've started it on the 31st of December. So this one I was actually supposed to start on the 30th of December, but I didn't. I ran out of time. Can't remember what I was doing. Can't remember what I was doing actually, but it doesn't matter. So I ended up having 2 starts on the 31st of December to get this one in. I'm stitching this on 36 count Edinburgh Heritage by Picture This Plus. And of course, you really can't see that it's actually a greeny colour. This is my start. There we go. These are all stitched in the cord for threads, which is classic Colourworks and the odd DMC here and there. Now I picked a couple of these to do on 36 count just for something different. This I think is going to be the last one I do on 36 count, because I'm actually going to restart them, and I may have one more. I think I've got one more piece in there that I've cut that I could probably use, but I've actually decided I want to restart them and do them as the full set next year in 2022 or 2023 or whenever, because I actually like seeing them now. Different people have been obviously putting them out now and all framed, and they looked absolutely gorgeous, so I'll leave that there. So that's my thought anyway. Okay, what have I got next for you? So my last WIP on my list is something that I fell in love with last year when it came out. I bought the chart, well, it was my birthday present. It's a hubby said it's birthday present. So it was my birthday present for 2020. The threads I got for Christmas, so we kitted it up for Christmas, and I started it on Christmas Day. I'm talking about Quarantine Cats, which is a Haid, and it's the artwork of Bridget Ashwood. So bear with me a moment while I sneak over here and I get it. So that's my box of DMC there, where everything's all neat and tidied, and this is where I'm at. So I'm stitching on 32 count Lugana. I had 2 meters of 25 count Lugana. I had 2 meters of it, which I got from a cross stitch shop a couple of years ago when she was going out of business, and I just bought a whole bunch of Edinburgh and 25 count. I don't even know why at the time I bought the 25 count, because I didn't stitch on it, and I think I was thinking that it would probably work for Haids, because I've got about 6 Haids that I bought years ago but never started. So this is the first Haid I have ever started, and I'm freaking out. I'm absolutely freaking out. So far all I have got is 203 stitches. It's not a lot, and there's quite a few colours in there. So this is the 4th of my focus WIPs for 2021 for the zombie run. The reason I put this in is I thought that if I didn't, I wouldn't stitch on it, because it's freaking me out doing this. Heaps of fabric, all that sort of stuff, big Q snap. So anyway, I joined Full Coverage Fanatics because I thought that's another way that I can get myself into stitching on it. So I've joined that. I joined the challenge to do 21,000 stitches in 21. I won't do that, but I thought even if I can get half of that on that, it would be a great start. And there's also some other challenges that are going on in that group. So I've also got kitty litter that I can use for that group as well. But my main focus will be this one. We'll see how we go. But it's gorgeous. It is just something I fell in love with, and I fell in love with enough to actually get up the gumption to do it. And that was the other reason why I decided to do no new starts this year, is I thought if I've got enough WIPs there, there's 64 WIPs, I've got enough to do. There's a mixture of small, medium and large, there's magazine ones, there's charts, there's mirabilias, there's enough variety, I think, there in that to give me what I need for the different challenge groups without having any new starts. And I thought this one here is something that if I can do, say on the weekends, 200 or 300 stitches on it, once I get into the rhythm. I found it hard getting into a rhythm with that because I'm used to obviously stopping and starting certain ways, and I couldn't do that in this because I was just ending up with a whole lot of mush at the back. So I've got some loose threads there that I've just pushed out to like a waist thread so that I can stitch over it as I go rather than try and feed it back under stitches that are already done. I don't know how I'm going to stitch it. I need to go back and watch some floss tubes like Jessie Marie and wherever where they talk about their diagonal stitching and work it out from there to see what will work for me. But I am looking forward to doing it. I'm really excited to do it. So yeah, so that's it. So that I'm going to try and put all this together now and see, hopefully it isn't going to be too bitty and horrible, and I hope it's going to be okay. But that is my WIP parade for 2021 for my no new starts. My goal is not to have a new start until my birthday. If I can hold out till my birthday, that would be so good, and then that way I would use my free start. If I fall off the wagon, I'm not going to get too upset because there's enough things that I've got kitted up that I'm sure I'll be able to start. But I really don't want to start anything if I can help it, because I would like to knock off some of those WIPs, and especially, you know, I've got some, looking at the total, there's 23 from 2020, there's 19 from there's 6 from 2019, there's 7 from 2018, there's 19 from 2017, there's 4 from 2016, 4 from 2015 and 1 from 2014. So if I can knock off any of those older ones, I'd be really happy. And especially those ones like the Fantasy Cell and the Happily Ever After that have been around for a long time. There are others that I haven't put in, like the Faces of Joan Elliott, that haven't stitched on that for a long time, so I didn't even bother putting it in. There's others in there that I could have put in that are in out of my 170 odd WIPs that I've sort of got over there and whatever. But I tried to pick ones I'm pretty sure I'm going to enjoy stitching on and I want to get finished or have significant work on them. So yeah, so that's it. So I'm going to go and edit this now and get this one up, and then I'm going to get to stitching. So I will hopefully do the right thing and be a lot more regular with my updates in 2021. So with a bit of luck, you will see me at the end of January, if not before. Take care. Happy New Year, everybody. And I wish you all the best for 2021. I hope 2021 is everything that you can hope for, stitching wise, personally, and whatever. And we can all hopefully write off 2020 and enjoy the new year. So take care. I'll see you again soon. Thanks for watching. Bye. Okay. Don't touch the camera. Don't touch the camera. Good luck. No.